Greetings, mortals, and welcome to a Berserk vlog, first in what could be many if I don't hate it and delete it from existence, which is pretty likely. About a week ago, I was tagged by Cyberpumpkin for a getting to know you chain blog kind of thing, and despite my general distaste for this kind of thing on social media, it just so happens that I was planning on trying out a vlogging format to see if I felt like adding more diverse channel to to see if I felt like adding more diverse content to this channel. As you can see, I can't speak whenever I'm confronted with this kind of thing, especially if I'm looking directly into a camera, because I'm more and more aware of it. Anyway, if I'm comfortable with it, I will be considering recording video game, movie, and TV series reviews, opinionated rants, and other general update videos to the semi-regular flood of gameplay content. And yes, I am half reading from a script. There's little that makes me more nervy than listening to my own voice be recorded without some kind of distraction, so while I'm listening to some soothing music in the background, I needed something to keep my thoughts on track, because I get distracted easily. Unfortunately, due to the need for jump cuts in this format, I can't simply record this music as I speak. It would get all chopped up. So what you're hearing instead will be the same tracks, but uninterrupted, even as they get slowly more out of sync with what I'm hearing right now. That doesn't really matter. Now, if you're watching this, even if you don't normally comment on YouTube videos, or if you would normally like to talk to me directly, leave a comment here with your thoughts and opinions regarding this format, as well as your own answers to the list of questions. I'm going to be leaving those below in the description as well, in case you don't want to troll through the entire video for them. Viewer engagement is something I'm keen to promote on this channel, even with my rather limited audience, so don't even hesitate. Leave a comment! Yes, it can be stupid. It's fine. But without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so I got the list in front of me, and I'm going to be reading from it in the same manner as I was with the script, but the difference here is it's going to be more obvious than I'm looking down, even more obvious than it was before. But when I'm answering it, obviously I'm going to be trying to look at the camera as much as possible. Keep some eye contact. Alright, so how did you get your YouTube name? Well, that's a fairly easy one and not terribly interesting either, but back when I had a regular Xbox, first console I owned, I believe, not counting Game Boys, my first profile name was actually Longshot, and that was really quite simplistic because it was based on the fact that when I was playing things like Halo, I had a propensity to pick ranged weapons over anything else because I preferred the scope. I preferred the precision of that, and although that sort of mechanic has changed over time, the way I enjoyed it at the time it was one of my preferred things to do, basically. And it was sometime later that when I started playing, I think it was between Halo 3 and Reach, somewhere around there, that my playstyles gradually began to shift. I would become more, I hesitate to say aggressive, but more confrontational. Rather than hiding at a distance and trying to pick people off, I'd be sprinting around corners, jumping over ledges, and kind of got keen on things like assault rifles and shotguns, where I could get up close and personal with people, because it gave me a better feel for it as well. And I got to the point where, especially in multiplayer games, I was absurdly reckless, not careful at all, where I would sprint around a corner at someone I knew was there just because I thought, oh well, if I take them out before they have a chance to do anything about it, they won't. If I take them out really quick, then they have less chance to do anything about me. Thus the name Berserker. So yes, it was just a profile name, but it kind of stuck, and I've been using for a lot of things since. If you could change your name, what would it be and why? I would like to be known as Valentines Alcalinella Zifax Shishi de Bohertz. Gombi Gobella Blue Stradvari Talentrant Pierre Andrei Charton Hamos Ivanovici Baldios George Deutzel Kaiser III. Don't hesitate to call. No explanation necessary. If you could go back in time and give your younger self advice, what would it be? Be decisive. Make decisions for yourself. Stop making split decisions where you decide on one thing and another thing that don't work in tandem. You can't be a jack of all trades all the time. Stick things out. I spent a lot of time in my childhood jumping between one thing and another and doing very little with them. Actually, over the years, I think I've found that I really have finished very little of what I've started. Musical instruments, projects, literally anything that I start is very often not finished. How old were you when you learned to blow a bubblegum bubble? I don't know, somewhere in my teens? Not really a useful skill since I never buy gum. But at least I can. What did you want to be when you were little? I wanted to be an inventor, I think, creating bizarre and pointless contraptions, which were usually culminations of things that already existed. Like multiple items that already existed just strapped together and go, yeah, that's more convenient. What do you order at Starbucks? Well, I don't drink tea and I don't drink coffee, so hot chocolate all day, every day. If you could play any instrument, what would it be and why? Well, I've played a variety of instruments over the years, but I would love to learn to play the electric violin, because yellow card. Look 'em up. What's your favorite thing to do when you're upset? I'll look for distractions. YouTube, films, music, writing. I'm always looking for distractions. Does this mean I'm always upset? I'm gonna go with yes. What's your favorite movie? Now this is interesting actually, because I've had this change multiple times recently. It tends to vary over time. It really does depend on my mood, whether I've seen something already, how recently I've seen it. Plot matters a lot. Needs a good balance of plot and action to keep my interest though. Because if it's all plot, then it might as well be written at that point. Yeah, I don't often re-watch things, even if I enjoyed them. I don't know, I just don't get the same experience out of them multiple times. One thing I do have to mention, something I watched very recently, and something which I very much appreciate, a very interesting factor of, Kung Fury. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Good God. Great movie. It's funny that I just said I value plot and Kung Fury is almost devoid of it, but it was a Kickstarter campaign and it's a 30-minute movie. And with that, I can't really fault it for having rather limited plot. But it's just the style, the effects, it's very slapstick. Honestly, if you haven't seen it, I really recommend seeing it. I might leave a link to that below as well, actually. What's one food you can't live without? Certain things are in too many meals I eat. Chicken, potato, pizza, chicken. If I had to pick one thing, oddly it would be a bit more overarching and it would be cereal. And that's because I really don't have the patience to make food in the morning. And cereal is one of the only ways I can manage to get through the first half of the day. Favorite dessert? Ice cream. Even when I'm full, usually keen on ice cream. Favorite pizza topping? Topping? Oh, you mean there wasn't enough cheese? Cheese. Would you rather be able to read minds or be invisible? Read minds, definitely. With time and practice, it would make things almost too easy. Make for good first impressions, avoid confrontations, shut people down entirely before they're a problem. With skill, you could even figure out what they're going to do and where they're going to look based on their thought process. So you could be sort of invisible. Not the cameras, but the people, maybe, or the ones that you're trying to avoid. If you had a selfish wish, what would it be and why? Oh, that reality would be more like fiction. More interesting, flashy, well scripted, and somehow meaningful. Reality is always stranger than fiction. That's not just a quote, that's definitely true. If you had to be a Pokemon, which would you be? Easy, Mew. Why? Solid stats across the board, psychic powers, diverse and versatile move pool for any situation, and the ability to transform into any other Pokemon. Yes, Mew gets transform. Downside? That shade of pink. What are your 3 favorite colors? Green, red, and orange. And orange is only really there because of red. It's a color scheme thing. What is your favorite quote? Oh, I've got a bunch of these. War is not about who's right, it's about who's left. Sir, they have us surrounded. Excellent. Now we can fire in every direction. The truth is rarely pure and never simple. Get busy living or get busy dying. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. I am Groot. I see dead people. Just keep swimming. Why so serious? What's this? What's this? Admiration is the furthest thing from understanding. Whatever their worries may have been, now they're just stains. Stains without exception. All of them equal before God. When we hit our lowest point, we are open to the greatest change. I'll finish off with an odd one. To win but not destroy, to conquer but not humiliate. That is what true conquest is. How much time do you spend on YouTube? Too much. What are your 3 favorite YouTube channels? There are too many channels that I watch regularly to mention here, so I'll just pick a few different ones. Let's Play, Team 4-Star, CinemaSins. If you haven't seen any of those, I'm not going to go into too much depth about what they do, but I'm going to leave links below. Let's Plays video games. Team 4 Star are the creators of Dragon Ball Z Abridged. And Cinema Sins review movies in a very parodied manner. What are your 3 favorite TV shows? Similar to movies, this can vary a lot, but at the moment, Arrow, and by extension, Flash, Archer. No relation between those two, oddly, despite the name. And I'm gonna cheat a little bit here and pick an anime, but One Punch Man. I've read the manga, both versions, and watching the anime unfold is just glorious. If you could write a book, what would be the title, and what would it be about? I am writing a book. No, really, I'm just really slow. Not going to go into too much detail, but the series title is ubiquitous, and it's about the paranormal hidden in the modern world. Those who seek to abuse it, and those who seek to keep it under wraps because the world is not ready for it. What makes you cry? Pain? Lots of pain? Them feels? What makes you happy? Aside from obviously my girlfriend, simple things. Games with friends, music, video games, more games, card games. I like playing things. Alright, so I'm done with the list of questions, which means I get to tag people. Now, I don't really expect any of these people to do this, to be honest, but I'm gonna do it anyway. First person I'm gonna tag is Envy, and I think he's the most likely to actually do this if I hassle him as well. Second person is Musabre. Yes, I'm pronouncing it that way on purpose. And third, Klaus Endomir. Now, I don't really expect those latter two to even entertain the notion of actually doing this, especially since I don't think either of them have shown their face on camera, but it's not as if they can't do it, just a voiceover over some game footage. So, well, if you want to do it, prove me wrong, go on. Alright, so that's it for now. I'm only half looking forward to doing this again, because honestly, I'm not dead keen on hearing my own voice for long periods of time. Which is one of the reasons I like wearing headphones when I'm recording, because I'm hearing the game and the music instead of my own damn voice all the time. But if you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. And if you have anything to say, anything at all, please leave a comment. I'd like to say no comment is a stupid comment, but we all know that's not true. Just don't be an idiot and you'll be fine.